Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. A few days ago, my YouTube channel here turned 9 years old, which is absolutely mind-blowing, and to celebrate, I wanted to do another episode of Dear Nero. For those who don't know, way back in the day, I had a weekly Q&A series where subscribers would send me in questions, and obviously that's a pretty basic premise, but over time, it ended up becoming somewhat of a solo podcast, with most of the episodes lasting anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, and a lot of people really enjoyed looking forward to that episode every single week. While my channel itself turned 9 years old 2 days ago on July 2nd, the Dear Nero series turned 8 years old today on July 4th, so I thought what better time than now to sit back, grab a drink, and answer some questions. There's going to be a lot of nostalgia here, and I would like to give you guys fair warning. You sent in lots of great questions on Twitter. There were so many of them, hundreds of them, and it was tough picking out which ones to use for the episode. So I picked out as many as I could, and it's likely going to be a much longer video than usual, but obviously I couldn't answer every single question. But I do like the questions that we have here, and I think you guys are going to enjoy the video. So sit back, relax, and let's just jump right into the first question, which comes in from the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost, who writes, going back 9 years, did you ever see yourself getting to where you are now? Obviously not. I don't think any YouTuber really goes into YouTube planning to have that be their career, if that makes any sense, have that be their job. When I first started doing YouTube, I was working at Walmart unloading trucks, and I just did it for fun. It was something that I enjoyed doing, but for some reason, I'm not sure if it was search results or just the sheer number of videos I was putting out there, but right at the very beginning of Modern Warfare 3, a lot of my videos started to blow up. Going back and looking at them now, awful. Every single one of them, so bad. But they were blowing up for some reason, and that's when I got my NerosCinema partnership, and then eventually got to the point where I was making as much money from YouTube as I was unloading trucks at Walmart, so I thought, why not put more effort into YouTube as compared to trying to do both of them, right? And it ended up paying off in the end, because obviously here I am 9 years later. But yeah, I do remember the exact day I made my channel. It was right before the 4th of July, and I don't know, I remember that day very vividly, and here we are 9 years later, which is actually pretty insane. The next question is going to be coming in from Nocturnal, who writes, Dear Nero, was Modern Warfare Remastered your favorite game to make content on? If not, what's been your favorite title when it comes to content creation? I would say you hit the nail on the head on that. Modern Warfare Remastered was probably my favorite game to make content on, and I've made videos for every single COD, starting with Black Ops 1 all the way up to Modern Warfare, right? So I've been doing a lot of different Call of Duty games over the years, but I would say that Modern Warfare Remastered was my favorite because it was so different. It was this weird situation where the game that I grew up playing and loved, Call of Duty 4, was being remastered, and I already knew, not everything, but virtually everything about the game. Like, on day one, I'm making videos talking about the weird weapon quirks, how the suppressor on the G3 makes it so your knife doesn't work, for example, or how the AK-74 U submachine gun actually has assault rifle-style wall penetration and hipfire spread. Like, I knew all this stuff from way back in the day, and then suddenly I'm able to make videos on this super old game and actually have it be relevant, right? Like, right now, if I were to make, like, a tips and tricks video for World at War, nobody would care. I know so much about World at War. I could talk about World at War all day and night, but nobody would care. It's a super old game. But hypothetically, if World at War got remastered tomorrow, all that knowledge would somehow be useful again, and people would actually be interested. So it was a very fun year for me, Modern Warfare Remastered. And then, of course, we had Call of Duty World War II right after that, then Black Ops 4. That was a really fun span of years for me because I enjoyed all three of those games thoroughly. Obviously, not so much Modern Warfare 2019, but those 3 years were pretty fun. And if I had to pick one game over all the other Call of Duty games that was my favorite to make videos on, I would say Modern Warfare Remastered. It was definitely a lot of fun. The next question is going to be coming in from Devin, who writes, Dear Nero, I was wondering how long do you see yourself doing YouTube? I asked because of the lack of uploads in 2019/2020. I don't ever see myself stopping YouTube per se. I feel as though YouTube is something that I'm always going to want to do, whether it's as a job or a hobby or what have you. The lack of uploads in 2019 and 2020 basically stem from my lack of enjoyment of Modern Warfare 2019. That game is really not for me, and I'm always honest with you guys. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I love this game. Let's just pump out 5 videos a day because I can make a ton of money doing that. If I don't enjoy the game, I'm not going to make content on it. That's how it's got to be, right? And as a result, it's a lot harder to make videos because it's like no one cares about a lot of the other stuff, and then my interest in Call of Duty has gone down quite a bit as well because I'm used to playing the new game. Like, we still stream quite a bit over on my Twitch channel, but we're always streaming like Blackout or Black Ops 4 multiplayer or whatever random other game. But when it comes to YouTube content, like, I can't really just sit here and upload Black Ops 4 content and have people actually care. And in some cases, I think it's actually better to just not upload as compared to making videos that people don't want to watch, because how the YouTube like algorithm works and everything, it's a situation where you put out content, and if all of your subscribers are like seeing that stuff in their feed but they're not clicking on it, then it's less likely to get recommended to them. It's less likely to show up in recommended feeds for other channels or for other people watching YouTube that aren't subbed to you. And it's also more likely that your channel is just going to start to wither and die if you keep uploading stuff that nobody seems interested in. So uploading like once a week or twice a week and having those videos actually do good is in a lot of cases better for the channel's health long term as compared to just pumping out videos that people don't care about, if that makes any sense. I'm sorry to get like on like the YouTube like business side of things, but that's just kind of how it is. And it does suck. I mean, obviously not being able to upload as much and not having as much content for the people that want to watch it. But at the same time, we're just waiting on COD 2020, man. Like, I plan to hit the ground running when it comes to COD 2020, but of course, Activision refuses to announce anything about the game. And so here we are in July, not even knowing the official title for the game. I mean, by this point last year, like, we're talking about Modern Warfare so much. The year before that, we're talking about Black Ops 4. Heck, a lot of my pre-Black Ops 4 videos, like the stuff we did leading up to the launch of the game, those are some of the best videos on my channel, I would say. Most popular, definitely. And we don't have that this year, which is really weird. So I'm in this weird state where I don't like the current game. I don't like making content for the current game. And the next game hasn't even been announced, and they're delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. So it's like I'm just sitting here in this infinite limbo, basically waiting. But yeah, I do plan to do YouTube for a very long time, and I do plan to hit the ground running when it comes to COD 2020. The next question is going to be coming in from Ruperton, who writes, Dear Nero, what YouTubers did you watch the most when your channel was still young? So when I started watching YouTube, which is how we all kind of start, right? You start watching YouTube, and then eventually you're like, hey, I want to do this myself. The first videos I watched for Call of Duty were from Hutch. They were World at War sniper tips, because that was the game I really wanted to get good at sniping in, and I was watching a lot of that. And then from there, I found Wings of Redemption, Zergriz, Beyond, Scoreboard, Trump. These are all the old school guys, right? And then from there, like once Modern Warfare 2 came out, the YouTube scene absolutely blew up. And then you had people like FPS Russia and Woody's Gamertag and XJaws and like all these old school guys, right? But the people that I watched when I first got into it, like I said, was Hutch, Wings of Redemption, Beyond, Scoreboard, and all those old school guys. They were basically just making Call of Duty 4 montages, more or less. Wings of Redemption obviously didn't do montages. He's more of a commentary guy. But yeah, it was all those old school guys that probably 90% of the people watching this video don't even know or have never even heard of. Going on to the next question, it's going to be coming in from Castro, who writes, Dear Nero, which COD were you most excited about, but then ended up disappointing you? I would say of all the CODs that I was excited for that ended up being a disappointment, it was Call of Duty Ghosts. Call of Duty Ghosts had a lot of potential because it was Infinity Ward's first time in a very long time branching away from the Modern Warfare franchise. They're starting this entirely new IP. The concept was cool, the idea of like these ghost recon soldiers pretty much, and I thought it was an interesting idea. I ended up getting the game early. Now, how you do that, whenever I say you get the game early, people are like, did Activision send it to you? It's like, no. How most people get games early is you stalk Craigslist, you stalk eBay, and you try to find somebody who somehow has an early copy of the game. Let's be honest, it's pretty much illegal because how else are they getting the game early if they didn't like swipe it from somewhere, right? But you find these copies online, and I ended up finding one for Call of Duty Ghosts. I remember sitting there playing it, and Wildcat, a lot of you guys watch Wildcat, I was in a party chat with him, and I ended up getting a chem strike 2 days before the game even came out on Stonehaven. I was using the SC2010, I want to say, and then I picked up the Honey Badger to finish it off, and that was cool. But at the same time, the game itself was super frustrating. The MSBS, especially back when the game first came out, was really rough. The UAV was basically gone. They had SATCOMs there. I feel as though when it came to Ghosts, it's actually similar to Modern Warfare 2019 as well, I feel as though they tried to reinvent the wheel a little bit too much. They wanted to try as many new things as possible, and it was understandable because they were going to an entirely new IP. They didn't want the game just to feel like Modern Warfare 4, but with different characters in a different setting. They wanted Ghost to feel like its own unique standalone universe and game. And as a result, they changed a lot of the game's mechanics. They changed around a bunch of things with that game. And for me personally, it fell pretty flat. That was the first time, actually ever, since I started playing COD, where I didn't really put that much playtime into it. Most of my videos that year came from the Chem Strike Saturday series, where subscribers would send in chem strikes, and then I would post them to my channel and break down what they did and talk about the weapon setup and the map and stuff like that. Believe it or not, I used to be more of a gameplay focused guy on YouTube way back in the day. But yeah, I think I put maybe 3 or 4 days of playtime in the Ghost total throughout the entire year. And that had never happened to me before. Like, typically, I'm like 20, 30, 40 days of playtime every single year, every single COD. But then Ghost came out, and it's like, this game's not really for me. And so I didn't play it all that much. I made videos and stuff, of course, but I put like 4 days of playtime in total. So if I had to pick one game to be the biggest disappointment, I would say that one. I'm not going to say Modern Warfare 2019, because I knew from the first time I played the beta that I was not going to enjoy the game all that much. And the idea for Modern Warfare 2019 was solid, like a reboot of the Modern Warfare series. But as soon as I saw like all the things that they were doing, I wasn't even really all that hyped for it. And then when I started playing it, I'm like, yeah, this kind of confirmed my suspicions that the game was not going to be for me. The next question is coming in from Martin McFly, who writes, Dear Nero, who was your favorite NFL player growing up, and what is your bold prediction for the upcoming NFL season? So there's not a whole lot of videos of my face and stuff like that, or especially me standing up, but I'm actually pretty tall and pretty thin. I'm about 6'3" and like 175, something like that. I weighed a little less in high school, obviously, but so I'm pretty much a tall, lanky guy. So when I played football in high school and in middle school and all that, I primarily played wide receiver and safety. So growing up, my favorite NFL players were Marvin Harrison, who of course played for the Colts, and then Sean Jones, who was a safety. He bounced around to a bunch of different teams, but he played for the Browns for a number of years, which the Cleveland Browns are my favorite team. And he would lead the team in tackles almost every single year, and he was just a hard-hitting safety that was always in the action, and so I really liked that. So growing up, those are my two favorite players. And my bold prediction for the upcoming NFL season, I mean, it's not super bold, but I would say my bold prediction is it's not going to happen. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but with the world the way it is right now, I mean, who knows what it's going to be like come September? You know, we have no idea what it's going to be like. So if I had to make a bold prediction, which, you know, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, maybe it's not even going to happen this year. I suppose we're going to have to wait and see. The next question is going to be coming in from Dog, who writes, Dear Nero, what's your favorite first-person shooter other than Call of Duty? That's tough. That's honestly tough. I mean, I picked the question. I should have, like, I might, by the way, I haven't, like, planned any of my answers for these. I just picked the questions, I saved them into a document, and now I'm just reading through them and answering them just off the whim. But my gut reaction is to say, like, if you're talking, like, online first-person shooter, then I would say Overwatch. I've played a lot of Overwatch. I've streamed it a number of times on Twitch as well. I'm not that great or anything, but something about Overwatch has always been fun for me. But if you're talking like just first-person shooters in general, where it doesn't necessarily have to be online, then I would say Borderlands 2. Like the Borderlands franchise in general, but Borderlands 2 is probably definitely is my favorite Borderlands game. So, yeah, there's one for online, there's one for like single-player and co-op. The next question is going to be coming in from Godspeed, who writes, Dear Nero, similar question, actually. Favorite game besides Call of Duty? This is going to be, like, straight out of left field. Like, I feel like some people are watching this. They may have an idea. I just talked about Borderlands. I just talked about Overwatch and stuff like that. Typically, I'm regarded as, like a shooter kind of person when it comes to video games. My favorite game besides COD? World of Warcraft. Easily. Hands down. I have an embarrassing amount of time played in that game, and I still play it to this day. Next question is going to be coming in from Time Destroyer, who writes, Dear Nero, congrats on the 9 years. I missed the series. My favorite one was the Christmas one you did a while back while playing Custom Zombies. But my question is, on the whole ordeal at Activision, should they keep Sledgehammer in rotation or go back to the old cycle? Yes. First of all, thank you for being such a longtime fan and remembering those old episodes of Dear Nero. But yeah, I think Sledgehammer should stay on board. Advanced Warfare was fine. It was an advanced movement game, so obviously I'm going to rank it pretty lowly, but it wasn't bad. The gunplay and the kill streaks are still pretty fun to this day, and I personally like Call of Duty World War II. I still like Call of Duty World War II, and it's one of those games where I'm a hypocrite because Modern Warfare 2019, I didn't like it at launch, and therefore I kind of just like stopped playing it, and I haven't really given the game a chance post-launch all that much, but at the same time, I feel as though a lot of people did the same thing with Call of Duty World War II. That game at launch was rough. We had barely any maps. The division system was janky and just not good. And then they overhauled it. Like 6 months in, they overhauled the game, and they made it so much better. And I feel as though a lot of people didn't even go back to give the game a chance after the overhaul. And that's a shame because, in my opinion, Call of Duty World War II is a really fun game. It was fun before the overhaul, to me, in my opinion. But after the overhaul, it was even better. So I think that's a super good game. And Sledgehammer's proven they can actually make good games. I don't know what happened with COD 2020. I don't know why Sledgehammer and Raven apparently could not work together on this one unified vision for COD 2020. But they couldn't. And now, they're helping out with Treyarch. And apparently Sledgehammer, according to the rumors, is going to be making like this free-to-play open world COD. It's going to be coming out in 2021 alongside Infinity Ward's next game. I have no idea if that's true or if it's going to happen. But, of course, we talked about it here on the channel. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I would like them to go back to the 3-year dev cycle. But at the same time, I've talked about it many times before, they should just take a year off. Like, take a year off, let all the developers catch their breath, especially with the pandemic and everything happening. Like, let the developers catch their breath. Let them polish their game and have the game actually be in a super complete, solid state at launch, as compared to what's been like the past, 5 years, where it seems like every time they release a new game, the first 3 months of updates are spent making the game feel like it should have felt at launch, right? We're losing all that time. It would be so much better. And that's what they should do. I mean, they should take a year off. I did a video on that, obviously, but I do think Sledgehammer games should stay in the rotation for sure. The next question is going to be coming in from Calm Mikey, who writes, Dear Nero, in one of your older top 10 videos, you mentioned that you really enjoyed making top 10s. My question is, do you have any top 10 videos planned for the future? Yeah. So a lot of people actually have been asking me about this because, like, during this entire time where it's like I'm not playing Modern Warfare, we're waiting on COD 2020, we're in this weird limbo, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what kind of content to make. And a huge suggestion from a lot of people is to go back to making top 10 videos, which some people love that kind of video, some people don't, but I've made a bunch of them. But the thing is, a lot of them are super old. Like, I did, like, top 10 guns in Call of Duty history, top 10 maps, top 10 worst maps, top 10 prestige icons, top 10 camos, zombies maps, all sorts of stuff like that, right? And the thing about that is, most of those videos were made, like, 3 to 7 years ago. Like, my top 10 guns video, I think I made, like, 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. There have been a lot of games that have come out since then, so in a sense, I kind of want to remaster my top 10 videos. One, they would be a lot better quality and actually be good. And two, it would be updated because there's a lot of games that have come out since I made those videos. And obviously my opinions have changed over the years about where my favorite guns of all time, especially with all the new ones that have come out and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely plan to do more top 10s in the future. I'm not sure which ones to do first. Maybe the top 10 guns, but at the same time, it's like, it's my top 10 favorite guns. We're not talking like top 10 fastest killing, top 10 most OP or anything like that. It's just like, subjectively, my opinion, my favorite weapons throughout the entire history of the Call of Duty franchise. If you guys want to see videos like that, let me know down in the comments, because I would definitely be happy to make some of those. The next question is going to be coming in from Nades, who writes, Dear Nero, do you think COD will ever be as good as it was back in the day? That's a loaded question, right? Because there's no way you can go back to what COD used to be like. You can have a game that comes out that is just like Modern Warfare 2, but that does not mean you're suddenly going to be a 16-year-old kid again, living with your parents, playing Modern Warfare 2 with your friends after school, right? That's the thing for me. That's what I had to realize over the years, is while I like most CODs, I don't love them all, but I like most of the CODs that come out, I had to accept a long time ago that it's never going to feel like it did when I was like 15, 16 years old, playing Call of Duty 4 until all hours of the night with my friends, and all the memories I made doing that, right? You can't just relive that. Going back to Modern Warfare Remastered, for example, when that game came out, it was fun because it was Call of Duty 4, it was updated, people had this revitalized interest in this 10-year-old game, and I know so much about this game already, and I loved it, but at the same time, the people I played with back when Call of Duty 4 was current, none of them play anymore. I don't even know what happened to those friends. You can't go back to like the old Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 days. Like, you can't go back really, right? And so when you ask, will COD ever be as good as it was back in the day, I think a lot of us look at it through rose-tinted glasses. We're looking back at the nostalgia factor and how much fun we had and where we were in our lives at that point, and we miss that almost as much as we miss the game, right? Does that make any sense? And so, yeah, I think COD can be as good as it was back in the day. I would say that, there's been more recent CODs that have come out that are better than the games that came out back in the day. I know it's a super unpopular opinion, but like Black Ops 4, COD World War II, I like both of those games more than Modern Warfare 3, for example. And that game came out in 2011. That's still considered back in the day. But to me, those games are super current and super recent, and they're better than that super old game, even though I have a lot of nostalgia for Modern Warfare 3. That's when my channel first started to blow up. The Moab Monday series, the Moab Friday series, all the videos I made for Modern Warfare 3, and that game laid the foundation for my channel and got me to where I am today. But at the same time, I did not enjoy the game as much as I enjoy some of the newer ones that have come out. So I definitely think COD can be great like it was back when, but you have to understand that a lot of the time when you think about those super old school CODs, you're thinking about where you were at that point in your life and the friends you had and what you were doing, and you miss that almost as much as you miss the game itself, because you can hop on and play the games, but they're never as good as you remember, right? That's just kind of thing. It's the thing about nostalgia. It's a very tricky thing, and our minds can definitely play tricks on us when it comes to some of that stuff. The next question is going to be coming in from Bling, who writes, Dear Nero, what has been your favorite COD news topic to cover and why? It could be good or bad. So the reason why I picked this question is we're going very broad spectrum here, but my favorite COD news topics to cover, believe it or not, are good news, right? I like when good news is happening and we can talk about it and people are psyched about things and things are hyped, right? Obviously, I have a lot of negative videos because it's the Call of Duty franchise and it's run by Activision. Therefore, there's going to be a lot of bad to go with the good. And it's YouTube. You guys know how it works. Like when there's drama, there's controversy and stuff like that. That's what people fiend for more, it seems like. It's like, oh, there's good news. Oh, that's fine. Whatever. Oh, wait, there's bad news. Let me grab my popcorn here. Like, that's just what people seem to do. And some people, claim that I'm a super negative person and that I try to be negative for the sake of being negative. And I don't. I look at every piece of news, every update, just objectively, whether it's going to be good or bad. Then I discuss it and give my feedback on it. It's just unfortunate that a lot of the time, a lot of the news is bad when it comes to the Call of Duty franchise, but I would say my favorite news topic to cover would be what we're supposed to be doing right now, which is like the pre-launch hype, right? Covering all the leaks, covering all the rumors. The beta is going to be coming out. Oh, there's a new trailer. Let's break down the trailer. Like, the pre-launch hype for a COD is like my favorite time of year, and that's being delayed, and that really, really sucks. Going on to the next question here from Draconian. That's a throwback. He used to send in so many questions for Dear Nero back in the day. He writes, Hey Nero, long time no see. Just wanted to ask what your favorite video you've ever worked on / made and how your new job is going / what you do for a living since you rarely cover Modern Warfare. All the best, longtime fan, Draconian. So what he's referencing there is for like 6 months there, like when Modern Warfare first came out and I was barely making any videos. Well, I mean, technically I'm still barely making videos now. I went and worked security at a lumber mill for a bit, which was like the easiest job in the world. It didn't really pay all that well, but it was just kind of like something to get me by while I was waiting for more things to come out and make videos and content on. But I'm not there anymore. I'm back like doing YouTube and streaming and stuff like that. But I did do that for a little bit when Modern Warfare first came out. And my favorite video that I've worked on / made, I would say any of the pre-alpha videos or the cut content videos. Those are my favorite ones to make. I get to dig deep in the Call of Duty's history and try to like unearth all this old content that was either cut from the franchise or was at one point going to be in the franchise, then was removed for one reason or another. Like, I find that stuff fascinating, and I was really happy to see that so many of you as well find that stuff to be fascinating. Like digging around on pre-alpha builds of like Call of Duty 4 and exploring how the maps were originally going to be designed, or going back and looking at like the cutting room floor, for example, and seeing all the cut perks that were going to be in Modern Warfare 3 that they end up making in there. I find that stuff fascinating, and I love making content on that stuff. Unfortunately, we've covered a lot of it already, and so there's not a whole lot really to cover anymore, but those are probably my favorite videos that I've made, and thank you for all the support over the years, man. It really means a lot. The next question is going to be coming in from DJ Rockstar, who writes, Dear Nero, thoughts on doing more custom zombies videos? A lot more recent mods and maps have been really fun. Yeah, for sure. I've been wondering what to do on my Let's Play channel. I haven't really uploaded there for a couple of months, and that's mostly because I've been streaming, right? I used to do live streams on my second channel, and then I switched over to Twitch because Twitch is just, in my opinion, a better platform for streaming. And ever since then, so I'm either making videos for NerosCinema or I'm like live streaming on my Twitch channel. I haven't really been touching Nero's Let's Plays whatsoever, and I do think it would be fun just to do a bunch of custom zombies videos. What I used to do back in the day with those is I would boot up a map that looked cool, have no idea what to do in it, like live first impressions basically, and then do like a live playthrough of the map and try to figure it out. Usually maps have a viable ending. I try to get that. You try to figure out the power, where the pack punch is and all that. And it's fun. And sometimes I get the viable ending. Sometimes I play horribly and I can't figure out the map and it's too hard for my tiny, tiny brain. One of those two things ends up happening, and it usually makes for entertaining videos. And so, yeah, I definitely want to do more custom zombies videos in the future. The next question is going to be coming in from Ben, who writes, Dear Nero, was there ever a point where you felt like giving up on YouTube? If so, why? I would say never. I would never give up on YouTube, I wouldn't say. Like, stop doing it entirely. There have been many times where I figured I should just stop trying to do YouTube full time and instead go find an actual job somewhere doing something and then do YouTube as a hobby. But I would never stop YouTube regardless. Like, YouTube's always been a big part of my life. Like, literally from the time I was... oh, geez, like 18 up until now, pretty much. Like, it's always been a big part of my life, and I enjoy it, and I enjoy the community I've built here on Twitch as well as YouTube, and, like, seeing people on Twitter and stuff like that. I enjoy this. That's why I still continue to do it. And so I would never stop regardless, but there have been times, many times, throughout my YouTube career, if you can call it that, where I thought about not trying to do it full-time anymore, instead stepping back, making videos only occasionally, and then going and, like, out into the real world and doing stuff out there. So, but here I am still. So it's been 9 years. I guess it kind of worked out. The next question is going to be coming in from Zach, who writes, Dear Nero, while you've primarily been a Call of Duty channel, do you ever see yourself growing out of that label and leaving COD entirely? I haven't kept up with gaming at college, but I still watch your videos after all this time. Here's to 9 years. Zach from Ohio. First of all, thank you for all the support over the years, man. Do I see myself leaving COD entirely? That's an interesting question. I want to say no, because that's what my channel is. And some people on YouTube have been able to branch out from COD and post other things and be successful. Whereas other people who try it, it just completely kills their channel and then they're off the platform in like 6 months, right? It seems to be one end of the spectrum or the other, right? Very rarely is there anything in between there. So it's nerve-wracking, and I still enjoy COD. I still look forward to COD every single year, and so I still want to be a COD channel. But when it comes to doing other kinds of content, that's for Twitch. That's for my Let's Play channel. NerosCinema will always be a COD channel. I don't see myself ever wanting to switch off of that. Next question is going to be coming in from Potato Warfare, who writes, Dear Nero, I've been watching you since the launch of Modern Warfare Remastered in 2016. You were one of my inspirations to start streaming on Twitch, which I still do. When did you know you wanted to try to create content for a living? Well, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier when I was like working at Walmart unloading trucks for a living. Once I was making as much money from YouTube as I was my actual job, then I'm like, okay, well, I'm like doing YouTube part-time. Like I would work, like I work second shift. So I'm like getting off at like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night, something like that. And then I would go home and play COD with my buddies and then make a video and then render the video overnight, upload it when I woke up the next day and then go back to work, right? And so I was kind of doing YouTube part-time and I was making as much money as my full-time job. So it's like, okay, well, if I put more time into YouTube, I'll probably do a lot better that way. And so that's when I decided I wanted to make content full-time. That's my recommendation to a lot of people out there. I see a lot of people that want to do YouTube, they want to do Twitch, but they do it for all the wrong reasons. They do it because they want to be a YouTube star, which, what are the chances of that? Like, it's really hard, right? But people nowadays, they grew up watching YouTube, they grew up watching Twitch, they want to do that as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you go into it thinking, this is going to be my job, you're setting yourself up for failure because there is so much luck involved with this. Like, I would not be here today if randomly, for some reason, my videos started getting in a lot of recommended feeds and stuff like that back in Modern Warfare 3. If that did not happen, then that would not have set me up to make videos for Modern Warfare 3, which set me up for Black Ops 2, and then continuously so on and so forth, and my channel grew and grew and grew. Not very fast or anything like that, but it continuously grew. And it's all because I got kind of lucky. There are people out there who have thousands and thousands of videos that cannot get any traction on the platform for one reason or another. It's hard. So what you have to do is make content because you want to make the content. If you want to be a streamer, you can stream. If you want to make YouTube videos, but don't do it thinking this is going to be your job, and don't let it get in the way of your actual real life work prospects, if that makes any sense. If you work your job, live your life, do your thing, do YouTube and Twitch on the side for fun, and if something comes of it, then great. Then you can make a decision as to whether or not you maybe want to pursue that full time, but don't think you can just do that right away. Because, again, I'm not saying, like, literally, it's luck. It's seriously luck. Like, you have to put in the work and stuff like that. I have, like, 5,000 videos on YouTube between both my channels, but there's still a lot of luck involved, for sure. So, that's my recommendation to all of you guys out there. The next question is going to be coming in from Signal, who writes, Dear Nero, what was the most challenging point in your YouTube career? I'd say I'm in it right now, honestly. I would say I am in the most challenging point in my YouTube career because I don't know what to do with my channel right now. We're waiting on COD 2020, and what if COD 2020 sucks? And after having not really done anything with Modern Warfare, like, I'm in like this weird limbo state. We've talked about it so many times already in this video, but yeah, I would say right now is the most challenging point. Like we're basically just waiting for COD 2020, and we don't even know how good it's going to be. And like the future of my channel, I guess if you think about it, depends on that game. So I guess we'll see how it goes. The next question is going to be coming in from Nicholas, who writes, Dear Nero, what advice would you give to new and smaller YouTubers? Well, I just gave it. Do it for fun. Do it for fun. If you want to have any success at it, while luck is a factor, you can increase your odds by actually being consistent, right? Uploading, maybe not daily, every other day. Make content that people want to find. I remember back in the day, I used to do like gameplay videos. If you go back to like my oldest videos, it's like, 48-2 TDM on firing range or something like that. Like your typical gameplay COD YouTuber from way back in the day. And then over time, I realized, like, that's a super saturated market, and I'm not as good as these other players. Like, have you seen Dismo play, for crying out loud? Like, I'll never be on that level. There's always going to be somebody much better than me at COD. So being a gameplay guy wasn't really there for me, and that's why I started doing things like the top 10s. I started doing things like news and covering leaks and rumors and stuff like that are coming out, as well as, like, diving deep into pre-alpha builds and cut content for the Call of Duty franchise. The big thing is, you can't just upload random videos anymore that people don't want to find. I know that sounds glib, but that's honestly how it is. You have to upload content that people are going to either search for, or if they see it in their recommended feed, they're going to want to click on it. And you have to make enough of those videos to a point where you get yourself a following, and that's going to help you out. But again, do it for fun. Live your life, work your job. Don't let it get in the way of like your actual life and everything. And if it does turn into something, then it does. If it doesn't, then that's okay, because you're still having fun doing your hobby. Don't think of it as a job. Don't think of it as like, this is going to be my career, this is what I'm going to do, because you're setting yourself up for failure. Pretty much every YouTuber and streamer that you see started like 10 years ago, and they did it because they were passionate about it, right? That's just what they wanted to do, and it turned into something for them. The same thing can happen to you as well. You just have to put in the time and put in the effort and have a lot of luck. The next question is going to be coming in from Calm Mikey, who writes, Dear Nero, where would you like to work if YouTube suddenly stopped being a source of income for you? P.S. Been a fan for a long time. Missed your videos so much that I had to rewatch some older tier Neros. Keep up the great content. Well, thank you for all the support over the years, man. Thank you very much. And those old Dear Neros are not good, but I'm glad you enjoy them for the nostalgia fix. If I were to work a different job, like if YouTube suddenly stopped working, like my channel imploded, I would go to a trade school and probably do something like as like an electrician, if that makes sense. I have a number of family members that have done that as well, and I've always kind of thought that was interesting. Like I helped them out with things, and I feel like I'd be good at that. And I'd have to go to school for it, obviously, but that's always kind of been like the backup plan. But at the same time, the weird thing about this whole like YouTube and streamer thing, right? If you're not really working your ass off and trying to get to the point where you are setting yourself up for your future's up in the air. Because, like, take me, for example, right? I started doing this full-time when I was 18 years old. I'm 28 years old now. And in that time, I've only worked one normal job. Like, I don't really have a resume. High school education, that's whatever, but other than that, I didn't go to school, no trade school, no college, nothing like that. I have been a solo contractor, right? Running my own quote-unquote business for the past 10 years. And that doesn't exactly look great on resumes, especially when you tell people, oh yeah, I did YouTube. I played video games and told stories on the internet. So my future's up in the air for sure, as is the future for most YouTubers, which is why you have to really work at it while you're here and try to set yourself up for the rest of your future while you can. So it's definitely a very weird situation. The next question is going to be coming in from Nikki, who writes, Dear Nero, if there's one thing you would do differently from the inception of your channel and start on YouTube, what would it be? I love you, man, so please include this. Well, here you are, you're in the video. Man, if I could change one thing about YouTube, and this is true of everything, right? Everything. I wish I could go back to 2011 when I made my channel and everything and know as much about YouTube and what people like and how to make videos and stuff as I do now. Like, don't you wish you now could go back 10 years ago with all the knowledge that you have now about the world and like maybe your job or relationships or whatever, and just go back with all that knowledge and apply it to you 10 years ago? Like how differently your life would have turned out had you had the knowledge that you have now. I think the same thing's true of YouTube. If I could go back and make it so my audio quality was not so bad for so many years, and that my video quality wasn't all that good, and I would stop like just making these random videos that just had no real purpose and stuff like that. I would focus a lot more on growing the channel and like making the content that people want to find, people want to watch. Like, I mean, yeah, if I were to go back now, I think would have done a lot better on YouTube than I have, but that's kind of the thing, man. You live and learn. The next question is going to be coming in from Rob Stang, who writes, Dear Nero, have you ever been invited to an official Call of Duty event? Well, I'm going to let the reply underneath that answer the question, but no. Activision has contacted me one time. I talked about this on Twitter, and I guess did I talk about it in the video? I think I did. Activision has contacted me one time. It was not for an event or anything like that. It was some PR guy right before Season 3 of Modern Warfare 2019 coming out, and they offered me COD points to buy the Battle Pass. Yeah, that is the extent of my interactions with Activision. I did not even respond to the guy. In fact, I blocked him. The next question is going to be coming in from Senor CZ, who writes, Dear Nero, of Nate, James, and Sean, who you despise the least? I mean, they're all pretty awful. I mean, all three of them are just terrible. Like, I don't know why I talk to any of them. I don't know why I stream with those guys. They are just all really, really bad. And so, yeah, if you guys watch my live streams, Nate, James, and Sean are the people I stream with all the time. And CZ is there for literally every stream from start to finish. And it's a good time. If you haven't checked out my Twitch channel yet, you should definitely do that. The next question is going to be coming in from Riley. This is a throwback here. Old school fans of Dear Nero, you know I had to include this man's question. He writes, Dear Nero, over the last 9 years that you've been on YouTube, what are your favorite memories you have made and favorite people you have met along the way? Congrats on 9 years. Riley from Canada. So Riley was there for like every single episode of Dear Nero pretty much. Every week he would send in questions. They were oftentimes very good, thoughtful, and introspective questions. And I enjoyed having him on the show every single week pretty much. And here he is for this episode as well. To answer the question, what are my favorite memories that I've made? I would say my favorite... It's a collection. It's not an individual, precise moment. I would say my favorite memories are watching as I got better at YouTube, and obviously I still have a lot of room to improve, but getting better at YouTube, watching my channel grow, watching this thing that was a passion of mine since I was a kid, which is gaming, turn into like my job and a career and having success from that. And then, of course, all the positive feedback from you guys and like looking forward to making videos every single day. And like that's my favorite memory, is watching everything just kind of grow and turn into what it is today. It's at the point now where, and I've done it recently, where I don't even upload for 2 weeks. I make a video, bam, it's right back. You guys are right there. And it's like, well, thank you for being here and supporting me. It's obviously a tough time for me and my channel, but you're still here, and that means the world to me. And my favorite people, I would say, are like the old SB guys. Like way back in the day, like the reason why... excuse me, the reason why my name is SB Nero on Xbox Live is because we were strictly business. Like, that was our team name or whatever way back in the day. And it was like me and a bunch of my friends. And then we recruited like subscribers from way back in the day. And we had like all these guys we played with every single day. And it was tons of fun. But over time, you know, they grow up. You know, we were all, 15, 16, 17 at the time. And then after high school, you go to college, people are getting married, people are having kids, people, they go out there and start their lives, essentially. And none of the old SB guys from, like, Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3 and stuff like that, like, none of those guys are around anymore, which is pretty sad, because I would love to get back in contact with them, because you go from, like, talking to these people every single night, like, always talking, always playing, to having no idea what ever happened to them, because they just one day, it's like a meme on the internet now, right? Like, suddenly they just, hey, I'll see you tomorrow, and then last online 8 years ago. That's literally it with, like, all of them. And obviously they all left at different times and everything, but I do miss those guys. And of course, meeting James, Sean, and all them, the people I stream with, that's been pretty fun as well. And also, I like meeting the people, well, not really meeting, but the people I see on Twitter every single day that I talk to, or the people that are in, like, my sub-Discord for Twitch, or especially Twitch chat. It's always the same people in Twitch chat every single time I stream. And so I enjoy hanging out with those guys as well. The next question is coming in from Bravo, who writes, how bad was skill-based matchmaking in COD 2007 through 2013 compared to now? I feel like skill-based matchmaking has always been part of COD, at least skill-based team balancing. Way back in the day, people would, like in Call of Duty 4, for example, people would make a new account, and whenever someone on your friends list made a new account and was like a fresh level 1, you always let that person host, because for some reason, you would always get super easy lobbies with a bunch of other low-level people. It's always been a thing in COD, but it was nothing compared to like what it is with games like Black Ops 4 or even Call of Duty or Modern Warfare 2019. I take that back, actually. I don't think Black Ops 4 has skill-based matchmaking. People will argue to the end of time about it, but I see so many, even back when it was like popular, I would see so many horrible players, like really bad players, like people that can barely even like control their character, and I'm like, it's all anecdotal. That's the thing about skill-based matchmaking, or at least a lot of it is. But it's like, if skill-based matchmaking is a thing, this person like doesn't even have a full grasp of like how the buttons work, and he's in my lobby, and I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not like I reverse boost or anything. My stats on Black Ops 4 are pretty good. And so yeah, I don't know. Skill-based matchmaking is a very weird system. It's one of those things that's super hard to prove and break down. And there have been videos on it. I've seen them. I try to think about it because it's such a muddled system at the very end of the day. The final question, holy crap, this is a long video. We're going to wrap this up here with the final question here coming in from Miami Mark, who says, would you ever consider making these regularly again? They were some of my favorite videos back in the day. Also, are you ever going to go back to selling socks again? Thanks for nearly a decade of great work. You've been my favorite YouTuber for a long time now. Congrats on 9 years. Well, Mark, thank you very much. That really does mean a lot. I'm glad you've enjoyed all the content over the years. And would I go back to making Dear Neros regularly? Like, we used to do them every single Wednesday. That's how it used to work. And I'll say this, if the response to this video is good and people enjoy it, then yeah. If people thought, nah, that's more of a one-off video, it's okay. It was all right, but I don't want to see it every single week or anything like that. That's okay too. I would love to hear your guys' feedback down in the comments, because ultimately, you determine what content goes in the channel. That's the whole point, right? I make content for you guys to enjoy, and so if you guys would like to see more videos like this, let me know, because I'd be more than happy to go back to doing this weekly. I'd go back to maybe doing it once a month, or maybe doing it once a year on the channel anniversary. I'm good with any of it. It's all up to you guys. But I would like to thank everybody for always supporting my channel, being around at any point in these past 9 years, whether you were there from day one or you literally subbed yesterday and for some reason you're watching a Q&A. Doesn't matter, anywhere in between. I want to thank you guys so much for all the support, and just for fun, like down in the comments, obviously I want your feedback on the video, but could you also tell me what game you found me in? And maybe, because I remember sometimes, like the first time I saw a video of a certain person, and I'll remember that exact video, like, oh yeah, this was my first video that I watched of you, and then from there I started watching all your other stuff. Do you remember when you found me or how you found me? I don't know why. I just find that fascinating. Like, did you find me back in Black Ops 2? Was it Modern Warfare Remastered? Were you around back in when I was making like Battlefield 3 and Gears of War videos while we were waiting for Modern Warfare 3 to come out? Like, when did you find my channel? Leave that down in the comments. Once again, thank you all so much for all the support over these past 9 years, and hopefully we'll make it to 10. I mean, a 10-year anniversary of a channel. I feel like something crazy's got to happen, right? I got to do something wild for that. So I guess we'll see. I mean, it's a year from now, so I got time to figure it out. But until then, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you did, consider leaving it a like. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.